Welcome back to the Land Financial Group podcast, everybody. I have a very, very special guest with us today. Joining us today is Mr. Nick Hyder. Nick Hyder is a media architect, an entrepreneur, a former pro athlete, a fractional CMO and CRO, founder of Team Hyder, president of Processing First, and host of the nationally recognized HitStreak podcast. He's also a voice artist for SiriusXM. He's helped scale businesses to more than over $100 million in revenue over his career, built media ecosystems for elite brands and founders, and has interviewed some of the world's top performers to uncover what it truly takes to succeed. So, Nick, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for coming on.
Well, dude, it's a pleasure to be here, man. It's having forward to hanging out with you for a little bit.
All right, so like I do with every, let's talk about you a little bit. Let's
All
hear
right.
your story.
What do you want to
You know,
know?
so just for who doesn't like, who is Nick Hyder? Let's get back. I know you have the former pro athlete background. Let's kind of start there. Childhood, like where you from? And
I'm,
were you a sport kid? Is that kind of how you got on the path that you're on now? Was that starting at a young age?
yeah, man. Born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee, and picked up a baseball when I was probably about 4 years old. Started playing, and I played until I was 27, and that was my main identity, and that was life. At 14, I found music. My dad was in the music business when I was a kid.
Hmm.
And so I picked up drums and such, and it was a great outlet. And after school, I went to college on a baseball and a music scholarship at Trevecca Nazarene University here in Nashville, and did that for I don't know a couple presidential cycles. I think by the time I got done with the educational part, but played my 4 years of ball, and then was fortunate enough to go beat up the minor league system for a little bit.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. So, you're talking about how that's kind of been your whole life. You
Yeah.
picked up the baseball and that was it. Do you think that your experience, you know, kid, high school, college, pro, do you think that shaped how you were becoming an entrepreneur as you transition into business?
No doubt. Every through a sport like baseball where failure, the best in the game fail more than they succeed at pretty much every aspect of the game. It teaches you a lot about just life in general, right?
Hmm.
It teaches you it's all about course correction. It's all about awareness and really just understanding that, like, because think about it in baseball. If I'm basketball and I shoot the shot, I make it. In baseball, you can do everything right as a hitter and hit it right at
Hmm.
somebody and get out and still fail,
Hmm.
right? So it's all on what you consider failure versus success, and it builds a team infrastructure, which is great for the house, for the home, and being able to perform when you can be involved with a group of people and elevate everybody around you. That's a life
Hmm.
skill that is contagious that everybody wants in the workplace, right? So the biggest thing I would say is it took me a long time to convert all of that knowledge into the workplace. The application of that took a minute. And so that's kind of like one of the things that's kind of been my life's mission is, the things that took me 10 years to learn, looking back, could I have learned it in a year or even 30 days? And if so, that's what I want to do for everybody else.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So when you're transitioning, you kind of mentioned like you wish you could have figured out some stuff a little bit quicker. How fast was it when you realized that media, social media, all that kind of stuff was probably one of the most valuable assets that you could use?
After I got done with ball, I had a stint in the hospitality industry where we actually owned and operated multiple venues.
Hmm.
Um, and back then in Nashville, it wasn't the Nashville that it is today. It was happening, but it was very competitive and you had to market. And social media was a big place for that. So I learned a lot about the power of social media, on how basically it's very similar to radio and TV and television, and how they played together. What the customer acquisition was through there, and we learned a lot, and we hired a lot of promoters and such, and that was the outlets that they used. So if we could take their momentum and convert their audience that they had maybe highlighted us with and turn those into customers, that was what we were going after, right? So that's really when I got my feet wet with social media. I can remember I was actually on the road I don't remember what city I was in when I built my first Facebook profile back in like
Mhm.
'04 or '05, you know. So,
In the early days of Facebook.
oh yeah, man, even MySpace and all that kind of stuff. And that was MySpace was a big deal back then. But
Yeah.
social media was a big driver just because you could run advertise specials, you could tag people in their
Mhm.
photos and all that kind of stuff, and really just kind of make them feel like they were a part of our community or our mission with whatever it was we were doing in that in that restaurant. They were having a good time, and it was a memorable moment, and that's something that we had in common.
Mhm. Do you think social media back then compared to now, is it kind of the same at the core of it, or do you think it's like a completely different ball game compared to when you first started doing it?
I mean, it's definitely the core infrastructure's there. There's a lot
Hmm.
more of it, a lot more platforms. Each platform kind of has its own niche and specifics to it now or purpose.
Hmm.
But it's, back then it was a lot easier because it wasn't near saturated, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, if you're like in the stock market, you go back and watch what it was like back in the day when everybody was crowded up and yelling and trying to get everybody's
Yeah.
attention. Imagine if that was just a small room full of people. It's not
Hmm.
that hard to get noticed versus it's just scaled out to, I mean, the internet's endless and
Yeah.
there's literally billions of people on these platforms. So how do you stand out amongst billions of people? So
Yeah.
so it's the infrastructure is there, but it's definitely a lot more it's definitely a lot more intent based and strategic.
Hmm. No, yeah, it's kind of how I look at it, like to a degree, where it's like, yeah, you're still posting just like you did on Facebook in 2005, but like you said, there's so many more people doing it. So that was kind of what I was curious, like how people like yourself who started out early, like
Yeah.
did that kind of carry over? Like if you had a following then, do you think that stayed the course, or do you think was there ups and downs with doing social media when you're
The
trying to build a
majority of
business?
the majority of my social media audience has been accumulated in the last 6 years
Hmm.
since about COVID,
Okay.
which is really when we kind of leaned into it really, really, really hard.
Hmm.
But prior to that, as a matter of fact, I mean, we killed it on Facebook for a long time, especially in the health insurance space for a
Hmm.
long time. And it was just because, like, again, we were one of the only people there in that industry doing anything.
Yeah.
The profile that was so large that owned all the groups and everything else, it got hacked in 2021ish, and I actually lost everything and had to start over from scratch. It was devastating. It was absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
So, because on Facebook we had a good, probably 10 or 12,000 followers on Facebook. Obviously, the
Hmm.
personal community, everything else, and we kind of started over. And by that time, Instagram was growing. We've done really well with Instagram
Yeah.
over the last few years, and we're kind of starting to shift our focus now to more with where I'm at in life and business. LinkedIn and YouTube are big time platforms for me moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your entrepreneurship. Like get a little bit more in depth. So you've helped scale many businesses worth over $100 million in revenue. But number one, like how did you do that? And then two, what do you think that biggest lesson you learned while doing that? And did you realize it in the moment or did you realize it after the fact?
No, everything was 100% on purpose. It was just how do we do it, and it was a
Hmm.
constant. Dude, I'll put it to you this way: since about 2000, I mean, I've always been an extremely hard worker.
Hmm.
Okay, but I learned probably the biggest change in everything that I've done is like you only get the same 24 hours in a day everybody else gets, dude. And
Hmm.
when I look back, my success was literally 100% in line with the people that I spent my time with. Like it was wild. I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't think people truly understand how important that is.
Hmm.
When we were in the hospitality industry, who did I spend my free time with? People in the hospitality industry. Well,
Hmm.
those people aren't known for being, I don't know, that the hospitality industry I look at as most of the time it's a platform to get to the next place.
Hmm.
So, and if I'm hanging out with everybody that's the platform to get the next place, I'm stuck in the platform. I'm not in the next place.
Hmm.
So over time, it became really important to spend a certain amount of my time with people that were where I was going or further ahead of me in the journey. But at the same time, especially when we were doing the health insurance thing, a lot of my time was spent with people that were, I believe you're most powerfully positioned to serve the person that you used to be, right? So at one point in time, I was a brand new insurance agent. And that
Hmm.
was what we were doing is we were recruiting and launching these people's insurance agencies over and over and over again. So I was spending a lot of time with them. I had hierarchies underneath me and leadership levels and such, and I spent a lot of time with them. So if you spend all your time with people that are where you used to be, it's kind of impossible to move forward, right? So I'm so strict with who I spend my time with, even to this day. Dude, there's people from my past that I love. They're my boys, they're my brothers. But right now in life, I can't spend a lot of time with them because I have to invest the time right now. Dude, I'm 45 years old, man. I'm probably halfway done with my life, and I'm in my highest earning years probably right now for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
As far as like what I can do with my physical self. I'm not
Hmm.
saying I can't be a great investor and make billions after 70, but right now, dude, I've been grinding hard, bro, since 2013. Like I'm
Yeah.
talking like not enough spare time, not enough free time, a lot of sacrifice. And just most
Hmm.
people aren't willing to do that, and that's okay. So
Yeah.
I want to be around people that were.
On that point, and I think this is a good question because a lot of people that are going to watch this from my people are we're all athletes. I played hockey, so athletes better than just about anybody can understand a sacrifice. You're missing parties, weddings, all that stuff, and you were a professional, so you well know that. Do you think you gave more sacrifices to get to pro ball or in your business?
More sacrifices in business because baseball is a game, dude.
Yeah.
It's got one really important word in front of it, and it's play. You play it,
Hmm.
right? So, looking back, why didn't I get further in the game? There's some health reasons, but the real reason is one, I didn't manifest Yankee Stadium. I manifested professional baseball, and guess what I got?
Professional baseball.
Looking back at my high school years, a lot of time wasted.
Yeah.
That could have been redirected. What would that have meant had I done it?
Yeah.
Derek Jeter's parents talk about him, and it was like, dude, he was absolutely obsessed with it. It's all he
Yeah.
did. His friends would come over to play. Well, Derek had to get his 1,000 swings in that day. They'd sit in there in the living room and wait until got his 1,000 swings done.
Yeah.
I got a 17-year-old boy who says he wants to play at a high level. Well, as long as my job is to make sure he knows what path there is to get there, and then he gets to
Hmm.
choose if he wants to take that path. The cool thing about sports is I didn't waste another 20 years. There's a limited time, a limited window of life you can do
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
before you age out. So looking back, I learned a lot. It was like, man, like my last game was played, I think at 27. So maybe 26, 27, I think. 27 years old. That's young, dude.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even
Yeah.
hit my peak physical
So
abilities till
especially
like
for an
32,
athlete.
33. Yeah, dude, but like, so like my son's 17, bro. So like, he's a junior in high school this year. You might only have 2 years left,
Yeah.
and then the game's done with you, right? So that's the way you have to think about this stuff. But dude,
Hmm.
that's so parallel in business because you want to be surrounded by people that will give you a hand up, not a handout. A guy that will teach
Hmm.
you to fish, not give you a fish,
Yeah.
right? So that's what you want to be around. But how long will somebody teach you, right? How long, if maybe I'm the game of baseball to you,
Yeah.
am I done with you, right? Dude, you got to ask that question.
Yeah.
You got to know that answer. It just is what it is.
Hmm.
And because again, like, dude, Brad moves fast. Okay, Brad moves fast.
Oh yeah.
You don't see Brad hanging out with a lot of people he's not doing business with.
Hmm.
He invests
Never.
wisely, right? And you know, think about how many people come and go,
Yeah. And
right?
I'm
Why?
sure it's
Because
more than
he's gonna get somewhere at the speed he wants to get there. And if
Hmm.
you are slowing that down, if you're the trailer slowing him down, he's going to unhitch that trailer.
Yeah.
You know,
Dump it.
he's not going to pull you, right?
100%.
And guess what? If I want to be in business with him, then I have to do the same thing,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
learning learning when to cut bait is extremely valuable because again, people will weigh you down. They just will.
You think that would be one of, if not the biggest reason that a business will either plateau or continue to grow?
Communication is probably reason number one. You
Hmm.
know, not one problem in the history of mankind do we look back and say, good communication caused that problem, right? So anytime you want to make something better, first things first is enrich communication,
Yeah.
expedite it,
Hmm.
right? It's all in the details. The little things are the big things, and it's got to be quick. It's got to be efficient, right?
Hmm.
It's got to be accessible. That's probably number one. Number two, reason businesses plateau is systems. They don't have the systems to scale, right? So old systems are going to run out of are going to run out of gas eventually. They're going to run out of
Hmm.
space.
Hmm.
So, you have to operate like right now. What we're doing at Real Financial is I'm not building the business. We're not building the business for the amount of agents we have now. We're building it for 1,000 agents.
Hmm.
Put that infrastructure in now so you can grow into it. And then before we get there, we'll be ready. We'll have infrastructure for 1,500 or 2,000 agents.
Yeah.
Right. So I like to say like you got to operate in the future so you can live in the live today. Right. So everything that I'm doing today, like this conversation right here was booked a week ago. Right. I got
Yeah.
stuff on the books in September, October already.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So and that's the highest level people. That's how they live their life because why? They realize time is their most valuable currency. Right. So they invest it wisely. And when you waste time, it's something that could have been thought about sooner, communicated quicker or sooner. It
Hmm.
all goes to those things, right? And then number three would be, did you cut bait with people that weren't a part of the business's future? So, and I've been guilty of this a lot, dude. It's hard. You care about people and you love people and you want them there. You get attached to them, so you start catering the business to their abilities.
Hmm.
That's like your coach in hockey, putting in a goalie that can't keep pucks out
Yeah.
of the goal. You know what I mean? Like he's got to put the best guy out there
Yep.
right now for this situation. A business has to do that, dude, and it's hard. It is hard, and I understand that. And there's a certain amount of empathy and patience that you want to have in business, and that's you have to be a good judge of that. Just like hey,
Hmm.
who do you choose? How do you choose who you hire or hang out with? Well, you have to learn how to be a good judge of character. You got to
Hmm.
understand values,
Yeah.
right? And it's the same thing in business. So everybody's got a little bit of a lifeline or a leash that you can give them as far as like to learn. But then, dude, like, at the end of the day, if you truly want to help people, well, you can only help so many people. And
Hmm.
if you spend your time on somebody you can't help, the person that should have got your help, that was qualified for your help, that needed your help, don't get it. Right. So on one hand, it's like I should have been more empathetic to that person. Should you? Or should have been more empathetic to the person that actually was qualified to need it and could do something with it and could change something with it.
Hmm. That's church right there. Like I don't know how else to put it. Like that's a great way to make it make sense to people that might not understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure a lot of people are going to hear that question and go, "Well, who knows?" And
Dude,
people, well, the people that have done it, they know.
well,
Like,
I'll tell you a quick story. Um, Probably 2016, 2017, like 10, 11 years ago, we had an insurance agent who ended up not being an agent after a long time and was a great administrative assistant. She was
mhm,
awesome. But as an insurance agent, I couldn't get her to understand this because like she never hit her numbers. She was never making enough money. And I remember one time I literally heard this conversation. She spent like an hour and a half with a lady that wasn't qualified for her to help her with an insurance policy. And she stayed on the phone with her for literally an hour and a half. She justified it like it was just a little old lady and she needed so much. And I'm like, exactly. But and again, what you do with your free time is your free time. But you came here and you're a part of this company, this team. And the purpose of this company and this team is to help who? And she was like, these people. I'm like, was that lady that person? She's like, no. So the hour and a half that you spent with her, somebody that was qualified and deserved that time didn't actually get it. And that was like a paradigm shift for her. She's like, wow, I didn't think about it that way. I was like, dude,
Hmm.
it's totally fine. You wanted to help somebody, but it's really important you help the right person,
Yeah.
the person you're most qualified to help, because that person is searching for you.
A lot of people need to hear stuff like that. And that doesn't just apply to our business. That's just anything.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
going back to like what you were saying, you invest your time with people wisely and who you want to be around. You don't waste time with people that you don't want to be around.
That's right.
Um, so I know you've talked a lot about you turn attention into authority and authority into revenue.
Mm-hmm.
What does that actually look like for somebody who might not understand what that means?
So, first things first, like, what does authority mean? Right? Let's look it up. Let's actually define what authority means. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to do it right now. We're live on the show. Authority definition. Authority means the power or right to give orders, make decisions, and control people or things. It can also mean an expert on a subject or an official government agency. All right. Expert on a subject. All right. So when you have attention, what are they attentive to? Okay. So what I do is, for instance, this is what, like, you're in the financial services space.
Hmm.
So I would say you having a podcast with the logo behind it, wearing the shirt, branded shirt, all those things, you are aiming everything at your authority, right? The question is like, it's kind of like if you saw, I don't know, Jason Aldean cooking, how does that help him sell more records?
Can't
Well, it
imagine
might
that it
even,
would.
yeah, and it might even confuse the audience,
Yeah.
right? So the first things first is you got to become a master of one specific thing before you've earned the right to show anybody anything else. And I made that mistake. A lot of people make that mistake. You get so excited and it's like, man, I can do this, I can do that. Like, let me show them baseball, let me show them music, let me show them business, let me show them being a dad. Well, like, dude, one of the most insulting things that's been told to me was a compliment. It was two things that's been said to me years in the past. One, Nick, you're the best kept secret in town. What? All right, dude, I want to slap you. Right. So um, that's number one. And Nick, I love your stuff, dude. It's awesome. I have no idea what you do, but I love it.
Trying to
Authority.
wrap my head around that one.
Yeah. Authority. They're entertained.
Yeah.
Right. So am I in the entertainment business? No. So it's not authority. It doesn't make money. It doesn't
Yeah.
monetize. And that's the reason I do all this stuff. Like, look, dude, if you're a mom or somebody that just wants to use Facebook to keep up with friends and have fun and they're not looking to grow their business with it, that's great. You know, but if it's a tool in your tool belt, it don't work if you don't take it out of the tool belt. And it definitely don't work if you don't keep it sharp.
Yeah.
Right. So the one question you got to ask yourself is, one, if you don't use it as a tool in your tool belt, does it conflict with your tool belt?
Yeah.
Are you putting stuff out there that there's a dude that I know that came from the political world. He actually worked with Alex Jones for a long time. And what he's wanting to do, like what he actually does in business, what you see online is the polar opposite. And in my opinion, and maybe the bank account would back that up. What he's putting out online, which is extremely divisive and
Hmm.
raunchy and extremely political, one-sided, it's got to hurt the other what you actually do for a living that supports your family.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan said it way back in the day. Both Republicans and Democrats buy
Yep.
shoes. You
That,
know,
that was the first thing I thought of as soon as you said that.
yeah. So attention into authority, and then
Yeah.
once you're known for something, how do you monetize that skill? How do you
Yeah.
monetize what you're known for? Right. So then it becomes messaging and offers.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So the first time I saw my wife, I was enamored with her. Right. Well, guess what? I didn't get any special one-on-one time with her until I asked for it. I made an offer.
Yeah.
You got to ask for something, right?
Absolutely.
You got to ask for the appointment, or ask to send the proposal, or ask to review the proposal, or ask to
Hmm.
join the club or enroll or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Well, in case in point on that, I mean, just this. We had met until 20 minutes, like 30 minutes ago, whatever it was.
That's right.
We'd done the phone calls like for work, but like we'd never talked one on one. You comment on my Facebook. I said, "Hey, let's do this." I took a shot at it, and here we are. Just to prove the point of what you're just saying, because we literally just did that
And if
last
I'd have
week.
said no, nobody would have known but you, so it didn't hurt anything. You took your
Exactly.
dang shot, right? Michael
Exactly.
Jordan, he missed a shot and millions of people saw it.
Yep. Eh,
You get to fail in private, big dog.
exactly. And you know what? Like I remember when I called Derek the next day and I told him what happened. He was like, "Man, you did that?" It's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Why not? The worst he can say is no." I was like, "But if he does say yes, that's a good opportunity."
That's right.
Finding opportunities. That's
And
something that you continue to say a lot on our calls. Find opportunity any way you can.
and somebody's going to go first, dude. It's like, guess what? When people see this, a lot of people will say, "Dang, I need to do that," and they'll reach out. Well, I won't have time now. I can't do them all now. You
Yeah.
went first. You got it first, right?
Yep.
So, dude, that's the name of the game. The early bird does get the worm.
Exactly. And like you always said, just everybody. I mean, everybody says so. One of those cliches. The worst thing they can say is no.
That's right. And I
Like,
think
who
I just called
cares?
myself a worm. I think I did.
I think you did.
Well, the worm's the prize today, you know?
Exactly. So I know I've heard this on a couple of your podcasts and different things that I've listened to you on before. Um, why do you believe that people in today's day and age in business or whatever they're doing really, why do you think content is so important to that nowadays compared to maybe what it was back in the day when you were getting started?
Well, think about it. 20 years ago, if you didn't have a website, were you credible?
Yeah.
Right? Um, and if a long time ago, if you didn't have a storefront, were you credible?
Hmm.
Right? Location, 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 right? That was the whole thing. Got to be in the best location, best real estate.
Yep.
Well, we live in two worlds now, the in person, the brick and mortar, and then the digital world.
Hmm.
And, in the mid 90s, when the internet became a thing, all of a sudden people could do due diligence or seek information about your restaurant or whatever business it was online. So, first of all, did that match the quality
Hmm.
of your storefront or the experience that people got in person? Because that was what it was promoting, right? Well, after social media happened, again, you can go on nickhyder.com right now and you can go again tomorrow. It won't change. So why would
Hmm.
you? But your social media can change every day, right? So it's what keeps people coming back, right? If your favorite music artist, if they put out one album and then they toured with that off that one album for like 40 years and never released any new music, would you keep going to see them over and over and over again? You say, well, I'm obsessed with them. Yeah. Okay. You're obsessed, but everybody else that's not obsessed wouldn't,
Yeah.
right? So,
Absolutely.
and again, that's credibility because on social media, people can literally watch your growth. They can watch you
Mhm.
evolve as a human being. Like I look back at stuff that was filmed 3, 4, 5 years ago, shoot, 2 years ago. And it's like, oh man, like, but it was a phase. And back then that was the best I had been. So guess what,
Yeah.
dude? Today I will be worse than I am tomorrow. That's a
Yeah.
fact, right?
Yeah.
So every day I mean, you're supposed to get better every day. So it's totally okay to look back and cringe at something from a past point in life. It's the past, dude. You can't change it. All you can do is learn from it
Mhm.
and move forward.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, and that's me. I joke a lot about it with my wife, is I'm just like I'm afraid sometimes to go back and watch even just this. Like I've only been doing it like 2 months or something like that, maybe three, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm like I go back and I watch the first one, I'm just like, oh God, that's rough right there.
Oh
Like,
yeah, dude. My first episode was, I mean, we knew it was going to be horrible. Brad even
oh
told me.
yeah,
I said, who should be my first guest? He said, walk out in your office, first person you see, say, come sit down, put headphones on them. And that's what I did. And you
that's
could barely
awesome.
hear it. The volume was too low.
Yeah,
Um, it was an editing nightmare. We had never edited a show before. Didn't know what the hell we were doing. Didn't know how to
yeah,
white balance a camera. Didn't know how to properly light.
yeah.
it's all a learning process. And if you hire somebody to help you, they shorten that curve. It's an investment in learning
Yeah,
things faster.
yeah, absolutely. And that's like something that I've had within them. Like I went and bought like a tripod camera, did 2 episodes with it, and my 7-year-old was like, "Dad, the audio on that is awful. You can't use that anymore." And I was like, "What?" Because he had went and watched it for some reason. I don't know why he was watching it, but he went and watched it somehow, and he was like, "Yeah, that's awful. You can barely hear you. Like you can't
Mhm.
do that." And I'm like, "Man, I'm getting told by a 7-year-old how to operate a freaking computer. Like this is
Dude,
that
they're
was humbling.
experts.
That was humbling.
Yeah. Well, dude,
Like,
they're experts. Like that's
oh
their,
yeah,
for me, it was the movie, it was the big screen in the
yep,
movies and the TV at home when I was a kid.
yep." And that's
The
if your dad
TV.
wasn't watching the TV.
That's right. That's right. And TV, TV now it's not the same. It's just not the
No,
same. So it's I firmly believe that when people are spending 10 to 12 hours a day on something like this, if they don't see you on it and all they see is your competition, you eventually lose.
yeah, absolutely. That's that's absolutely true. Like, but and just kind of back to it's like, with anything, and again, you have way more experience than I do, so you can agree or disagree. In anything that you're doing, like you have to continuously be able to look back and like try something. If it doesn't work, okay, don't do that. Okay, let's try
Mhm.
this now. Okay, and you piece that puzzle together slowly.
Yep.
Like I'm sure you and Brad Lea, I'm sure Brad Lee's podcast was not what it is today when he started, but he tried different things to see what makes it better.
Hmm.
Change the studio. He just did that recently from the old one to the new one. Like just different things like that. And I'm sure that applies to a lot of things, like in
Yes,
business.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, you're either evolving or you're dying, right?
Yeah,
You're either growing or you're not. And you grow
absolutely.
forward. You grow forward, not
Yeah,
backwards.
exactly. Exactly. So, what do you think makes somebody a good leader? A leader in business and life, however you want to define it, or if they're the same.
A good leader is an expert communicator. They communicate in a way that people obtain the information, they retain the information, and more importantly, like a leader is a person that shows that one defines culture, which is this is how we do things here. They
Mhm.
create accountability, and they get people from one place to the next. Again, because if you're a leader, you're leading. What are you leading? Somewhere. You're leading something to somewhere,
Yeah.
right? So a great leader, first of all, is somebody that can do it better, probably better than everybody that they're leading,
Yeah.
right? They're the best at it. Probably the biggest, most underdefined characteristic of a leader is can you replicate yourself? Can you create somebody that can do it better than you? So
Hmm.
if I'm the leader of my household, well, I create the culture of our home, right? Um, I'm leading my daughter to what? To hopefully see something in me that's what she'll look for in a husband one day. My
Hmm.
son, it's dude, this is me. You gotta every generation's got to improve.
Yeah.
So my dad set the bar really high, bro. And my job is to take it another notch or two or 10. And then my
Hmm.
son's going to do the same thing. Right. And all the families that have something or a lot that they're known for, somebody started that. Somebody broke the bloodline,
Yeah.
right? Pastors talk about this a lot. There's generational sin. We hear in finance about generational wealth. Generational
Hmm.
wealth could be money, but it could also be knowledge,
That's a good one.
right?
I like that.
And generational sin is all it is just bad habits.
Yeah.
It's bad habits. Like how many, and back in the old days when everybody smoked, how many people smoked because their parents did?
Uh, I would, if you took a percentage, I'd say probably at least 90.
Dude,
Like,
my son, because I was in the nightlife for so long, when he was a kid, like, dude, he naturally just sleeps late all the time unless like he has to work really hard to get up early.
yeah.
Why? Because he watched his dad get home at 4 in the morning and sleep till noon.
Yeah.
So like it's ingrained in him. It's in his subconscious. So like again, you can tell your kids to do whatever you want. They're gonna do what they see you do. Period.
Yeah.
It's just natural because they're naturally looking up to you.
Yeah. I heard somebody one time, like speaking about kids, and I wish I could remember who it was, but they said raising kids is like the NBA and the NFL. It's copycat. They're copycat leagues, and it's the same way with like because they're watching.
Yep.
And they're watching when you don't realize that they're watching. That's a big one that I've
Oh
had.
man.
That's the big one I had to learn, especially with my son, because when we had him, I was pretty much still a kid at that point. Like I had just turned 21 or 21, excuse 19, I'm sorry, or 20, whatever. I was basically a kid, is the point of the story. And I just stopped playing hockey. And you know how locker rooms can be. And you can't do stuff like that when there's a baby
Yeah.
around. Like, and that was a weird transition.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that and being like, oh, that's very, I guess very true. Because if one team's doing one thing and it's working, everybody else is going to try to replicate that. And kids do that with parents.
Just pay attention to your kids, especially when they're young. I have so
Oh,
many
yeah.
videos where I have my phone out, video taping my family,
Yep.
and like you just focus on my son, and you just see him looking to see if I'm watching.
Yeah.
My daughter's doing gymnastics now, and literally, if it's not watch me, dad, watch me when she's doing it. First thing she does is before she does it, look to see if a parent's watching.
Yeah.
Right? You seek approval, man. You do. You
Yeah.
seek
Yeah.
approval from the people that you look up to.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It's the greatest compliment that you can get.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I actually, so I have a funny story. I was going to text you about it, and then I decided not to. I was going to wait till the day. But you posted a video on your Instagram story of your daughter dancing the other day,
Hmm.
and I was absolutely tickled to death because at the exact same time, my daughter was doing the same thing.
Yep.
Different song, but it tickled me. I was like, oh, okay. So they all do it. Like they love it. You know.
My buddy Matt DeVries is a really really successful lawyer. His whole thing, he actually owns the website. His
Hmm.
whole thing, and he's going to launch a show around this, is the same as you.
Yeah.
Sameasyou.com. He owns it.
Okay.
Sameasyou.com. He's a high powered attorney working with some of the most successful people in this town and others.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is like, dude, I'm just the same as you. Guess what? He's divorced, right?
Yeah.
Had to raise a lot of kids as a single dad.
Yeah.
Struggle with his weight for a while. Wife, his former wife, suffered from addiction.
Hmm.
He's the same
Just
as you, man.
normal. Yeah. It could happen to anybody. Every
That's
single one
it.
of us.
That's it. That's it. And dude, this is dirty, but like my granddad had a knack with words. We were a little bit redneck. He'd say, Nick, everybody shits, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We all sit down and do the same thing.
Everybody does it.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
gonna start telling everybody that. Like, hey, Nick Hyder told me everybody shits, so
They
it's
do.
okay.
And he also told me that's how you get over when a girl, you're intimidated by a girl because she's so beautiful. She does that too.
Oh, dude.
Oh my God, we went down the wrong path. We got to shift here.
Yeah. I love stuff like that though. A little bit of human, get it in there.
Yep.
So I'm gonna do something here that we're gonna see how it goes. And I
Cool.
would hope you will partake in this. I'm gonna start calling this the rapid fire question section. And
Yeah.
we're just gonna hit about 7 or 8 of them. Just get them
All
in,
right.
get them out, get a little bit more. Okay. Morning or night person?
Currently, I'm all of them because I'm whatever
Yeah.
it takes.
There you go. I
Whatever it
like
takes.
that.
But I'll tell you, there's nothing better than being first up in your house and seeing the sunrise. There's something
Oh
calming and
yeah.
just there's something that's just magical about that. Period.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the air's fresher because everybody's sleeping still.
That's right.
What's the best business book you've ever read?
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Who's that by?
Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay. Well, everybody go check that out.
The reason
Um,
why is because financial literacy is pretty much you can't be
mhm.
successful in business without it. And
Yeah.
dude, I didn't know how to speak money. I didn't
Yeah.
know the language of money. So
Yeah.
that
It's gonna be in
that
my
book gave
Amazon
me
cart.
clarity. And then the second tied two that I would go tied for number two would be the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. We were talking about that before
Yeah.
we started. 10X everything
Yep.
you're doing, and dude, watch, you'll 10X your results.
Yeah.
Right? Can't fail.
Absolutely.
That's number one. And the other one was Think and Grow Rich.
Oh,
Um,
I think I've heard of that one.
yeah, dude, it's again what you think about and becomes true. It's telling you in a roundabout way, like you're never gonna outlive your own self-image.
Okay. Beautiful. Love that. Favorite podcast besides your own?
Dropping bombs with Brad Lea.
Yeah. What is one habit that you never skip?
One habit I never skip.
Yep.
Just telling my kids I love them and thanking God for another day.
Love that. What is your biggest business regret?
Dude, in 2011, the reason I got out of the hospitality industry was for two reasons. Number one, I wasn't fit to be there. It was bad
Hmm.
for proximity was bad.
Hmm.
But a real big important factor was is I had led my group into a deal that pretty much I was the lead on it, and it lost. I lost everything in that deal and had to turn over all my equity in our nightclubs to my partners just to because I'd led them in the wrong path and it was the right thing to do.
Hmm.
So that would be my biggest regret. But honestly, man, I'm grateful for all of it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't change anything.
that's awesome.
Gratitude and entitlement cannot coexist.
Yeah,
Pick one, right? Pick one.
absolutely.
And so I'm grateful for every problem because I learned so much from it.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. That's a good one. That's a good one. Come back to that one. I
Okay.
got one for you. Hold on, I
Okay.
got one for you. Come back to that one.
Well, we got one more after that, and then I think this is probably a good one. But what do you think one thing everyone should start doing today?
Counting your blessings, meaning like gratitude is a choice. Gratefulness is a choice.
Hmm.
Um, if you're not in a good mood, dude, you chose that.
Yeah.
It's fact. So make learn to control your choices. Be aware
Hmm.
of the choices you're actually making. I think I like 85% ish. You make like 30,000 choices a day, and you're only aware of like 15% of those,
Wow.
right? So most of how you feel, which by the way, feelings are just feelings, are not facts. Most of how you feel, you can literally change it by just making the decision to do no. I'm not joking with you. This morning, I walk somewhere between 2.5 to 4 miles a day.
Hmm.
Just walking on the pavement. I solve a lot of problems on the pavement.
Yeah.
And literally today, I asked God. I was like, dude, I'm feeling like I'm just not happy today. I'm literally just I don't know why for no reason.
Hmm.
So I was like, I just asked God. I was like, hey man, work on me. I need help today. I need to shift my focus on. I'm focusing on all the problems and not all the things that are going great. And life is all about a scale, dude. So like if you put too much on one side, it totally tips the scale.
Yeah.
So if can you even control your own thoughts and be into something that's positive and because
Hmm.
again, if you look on social,
Negative.
it's extremely negative.
Yeah.
So yeah, and here's my quote I'm going to give you.
All
I
right.
won't say it's my number one favorite, but it's one that really stands out today. Take what you need, but take less than you give.
Who was that by? For the people that don't know.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know,
Don't
dude.
remember.
It may have been a song lyric. I
Okay.
don't know. But take what you need. Really, the actual quote was, "Can you take what you need, but take less than you give?" It was a question.
Yeah. I love that. That's a good one. All right, so let's get back into your podcast. Let's talk a little bit
Mhm.
about that. So obviously, like I said in the intro, you've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of top performers, high performers, and different businesses, from athletes to different businesses across the world. What do you think is the most common trait that every single person has?
Authenticity.
You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
They're true to their self.
Hmm.
They are true to their self. They're not trying to be somebody else. They're trying to be the best version of what they've chosen, who they know that they are.
I like that.
They all have it. Dude, Grammy Award winners, Super Bowl champs, Cy Young Award winners, billionaires.
Yeah,
That's what they all have in common. They are happy, truly happy with their authentic self.
yeah. Not trying to pretend to be something else.
That's right.
A lot of people probably do
Yep.
that.
That's right.
Um, So when did you start your podcast and kind of what made you start doing it?
I did it because I went on dropping bombs and I saw the future. Saw the studio, saw the podcast. There was a lot of calling that was unanswered in my life, and that solved it.
Mhm.
So I also saw something in Brad that I wanted. I was like, man, like that's dude's running his business and doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I need what he's doing. I need to like, I don't know him very well, but I can at least see all the things he's doing. So I'm gonna start doing that. If I saw Tiger Woods, at the driving range hitting a certain shot all the time, I'd probably start doing it myself just to figure out
Yeah.
why I was doing it. And obviously, I need to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, so what year did you start yours? How long have you been doing it?
Technically, it was 2020, but I dropped the first episode in 2021.
Okay.
The hit streak has had, I think, episode number 252 or 253 comes out tomorrow. But here's the thing with that, dude. So I actually launched a brand new podcast called The Nick Hyder Show.
Hmm.
Episode 4 or 5 comes out tomorrow as well.
Okay.
I'm in at the Hit Lab here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm in our XM studio. It's one of our newest additions. And this is where the Nick Hyder Show is filmed. I've had multiple set changes for the HitStreak, which is
Yeah.
my flagship podcast. But here's the changes that I made. So I started the HitStreak, the podcast, because I was like, Brad, why'd you start your podcast? He was like, well, there was more I wanted more time, like literally, like I think he mentioned Ed Milet. Ed Milet was a Lightspeed or is a
Yeah.
Lightspeed client. And it gave him a chance to hang out and chit chat they were just chit chatting and they turned it into something formal, which turned into marketing and recognition and everything
Yeah.
else. One thing led to the next. If you understand media, you know, having access to people through distribution is key. And the RSS platform is a powerful one, which is where podcasts are streamed. So, um, there was a lot of people in town that I was like, I wanted to do business with them, or I was known as an insurance guy at the time or a baseball guy. So why would, you know, why would this, investor or this pro sports owner, why would they sit down with me for 2 hours? Why would they take my call and take a meeting? Well, the
Hmm.
podcast gave me a reason to do that.
Yeah.
So I got to build, it was a relationship builder for a long time.
Hmm.
Then all of a sudden you start focusing on production. And now all of a sudden there's all these staff hours and time going into it. Now all of a sudden it's got a pretty heavy cost to do the same thing. And it was like, all right, well, I got to get some help with this. And dude, at one point in time, I started realizing that people were using me. The podcast was, the podcast is all about them.
Yeah.
I'm the host, but like I'm highlighting them and talking about how great they are, and then I'm giving them all the footage and they're featuring them on my socials and everything else. So, you know, there were a lot of episodes where it was like, hey, man, we got to figure out this is an investment, but what's the return?
Hmm.
Right. Once the relationships were there, then all of a sudden people start reaching out. We start putting people on. The relationship wasn't a business investment. So
Hmm.
why would I do it? Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, can you advertise? Can you sponsor the episode? Can you help with production costs, if anything?
Yeah.
And after episode 250, which came out on July 4th, that was kind of cool. That was intentional. Um, that was we brought out 250 episodes in like 240 weeks. I never missed a Tuesday for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then to hit 250 on July 4th on America 250, we released like 6 or 7 episodes in like 2 weeks
Yeah.
to do that. But after 250, it was like, all right, I've got partners here. And my job is to make sure that the time that I'm investing is worth it for everybody.
Hmm.
So now we only feature people on the hit streak that move the needle for me and my
Yeah.
brand or my businesses, or it's a revenue stream they pay.
Yeah.
And the Nick Hyder Show is focused on me and my brand, my personal brand, and all the stuff that makes me valuable in the marketplace.
Yeah.
So, and then there'll be other recurring content series that come from that too. But that's why we haven't been releasing as many episodes of the Hit Streak since July 4th. And you've been seeing the Nick Hyder Show. It's because again, it was fun, and quite frankly, dude, I was pretty bored with it at the end.
Yeah.
Again, I told you before we started, everyone wanted to tell their founder story. I mean, there's
Yep.
really skillion of those on the internet. And by the way, like how attractive? I mean, let's be honest. How effective are is or known are you? Like, why are you an attraction? How are you going to drive up the numbers of the show? How are you
Yeah.
going to drive any type of revenue? Like, what's the purpose of doing it? Because I got other hobbies. My kids are my hobbies. I like to golf. I
Yeah.
never golf. So podcasting can be a hobby real quick if it doesn't turn into a revenue stream or a
Yeah.
relationship builder or move the needle in your business in some way.
100%. Yeah, and that's a as you mentioned it, we talked a little bit before. Like you asked me, why are you doing this? Like, why did
Mhm.
you start doing this? Well, same thing. I need a needle to move, and I thought that this would help. I can build a relationship with people like you. Because again, like I just being realistic, I don't know if I'd have just texted you and said, "Hey, can I just sit on the phone and talk with you for an hour about business?"
Yeah.
Probably not. You've got things going on. That's probably, but this,
And
like
what's
you
in,
said, it gave an avenue.
and what's in it for me to do that, right? You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like, so
exactly,
again, I've
exactly.
got the same hour, and it's like, well, who's the best person for that hour right now?
Yeah,
And dude, I'm telling
exactly.
you, my wife and kids, they carry a lot of weight on that.
Oh, I bet.
You know, they carry a lot of weight on that.
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, the only time I'm really ever cranky, it's when things take away from my time with them. Period.
yeah, absolutely. Um, I got one more question about that.
Yeah.
Of all the conversations that you've had, and not just necessarily on the hit streak, you can add, you're on Sirius XM, just in general, of all your guests that you've ever had on any of your podcasts, the radio, Nick Hyder show, anything. What do you think the conversation that impacted you the most? If you had to pick one or two, you know.
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot. It's kind of like getting asked who's your favorite kid.
Yeah.
They're all you love them all equally, just
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Um, One episode that was two episodes that really stand out that were really special. One, Tim Shaw is a former Tennessee Titan.
Mhm.
He started the Ice Bucket Challenge, the
Yep. I
ALS
remember
Ice
that.
Bucket Challenge. He hasn't been able to speak for years,
Yeah.
and he was a guest on the episode, and that was a crazy episode because one, it took him like we had to film it over like 4 hours. I had to
Yeah.
get him all the questions way in advance because he types with his eyeballs.
Yeah.
Like the screen reads him, so it takes if you ask him a question, it might take 5 minutes to answer it. If
Yeah.
it's not yes or no. And he's an incredible thought leader,
Yeah.
super smart. So that was really, really special because, he's in his chair. He came in, he literally has to have a whole team around him to like just, he can't swallow. So he got to suck the spit out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was wild, man. And dude, he's such a smart and bright individual and his outlook on all that it puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
That was really special. The late great former Sirius XM longtime disc jockey and the mayor of Music Row, Charlie Monk.
Hmm.
I got the last footage of him on Earth in the
Wow.
studio, and a lot of my childhood heroes.
Hmm.
Longtime radio and TV host Charlie Chase. Chris Kirkpatrick, Blaine Bishop, R.A. Dickey, Caleb Joseph. My dad, my son, my wife have all been guests on the show.
Hmm.
I've brought him on every year since I started it to talk about the year prior. So like it's really like
Yeah.
watching him grow up,
Oh, that's cool.
right there on the show. So I mean, dude, there's been some really, really special moments, and I'm doing some big things in some business from those conversations.
Hmm.
You click with somebody over an hour or two, and next thing you
Yeah.
know, you want to have another conversation, and those conversations turn into something cool.
Yeah. No, that's the Tim Shaw one. I remember that. I was in high school when the ice bucket challenge started and like you couldn't get away from it.
Yeah,
Like and I remember like when that happened, not knowing what ALS was. I mean, I was like
yeah,
14, 15, something maybe 15, and being like, I know it's a disease, but what is it? And then just seeing it from afar, like through a screen.
yeah,
Like some of the things that they have to deal with is just like you said, like it's humbling. It puts a lot of like you have a bed and you're like, well, I mean, like it could be a lot worse. Like I have it pretty
yeah.
good. And I'm sure like seeing it in person, that had to be. Like almost a little like sad because it's like you don't want to watch anybody go through something like that, you know?
He can't brush his own teeth, nothing. Like
Man,
he observes. He's a 100% an observer of the world.
yeah, that's man, that's I can't even imagine.
Think about the weight on his family to
Yeah,
take care of him and everything. Again, life's all about perspective, dude. And
yeah,
that's probably like the most hurtful thing that you see when you see what people are griping about online today.
yeah,
There's just no perspective. If you get to
100%.
if you get to travel the world, you'll see. You'll see how good we got it here.
Oh yeah. Well, and like kind of on that, like I was living in Florida when Hurricane Ian went through a couple years ago. We had evacuated to Miami. We were driving back and we went through Fort Myers. And to this day, I've never seen anything like it. I
Hmm.
lived in Buffalo and saw the 7 feet of snowstorm. Houses covered. I've seen tornadoes. I've seen it all, except for
Hmm.
volcanoes. But when I drove through Fort Myers after Hurricane Ian came in, I mean, it looked like a bomb went off.
Yep,
Like,
devastating.
like me and my wife literally sat there with the windows open, just like you could see people screaming. And my wife's had a different perspective. But I was like, I could see them screaming, but I couldn't hear them. It was like eerie quiet, and I'm like, it's like, man, what are these people gonna have to go through?
Yeah,
Like, we got lucky because that storm was heading to Clearwater where we were living at the time.
yeah,
It'd have put Tampa, Clearwater, it'd been gone. It'd have put it completely underwater.
yeah. That's right.
And I was like, that was a big
Yeah, my
like,
sister lost her home and all that. She lives down
oh,
there. Yep.
that was a big like moment
Lost her
in
totally,
my
totally
life.
lost her home.
Yeah, I had a friend who lived in one of those like high rise apartments right on the beach. Her and her now husband, they were trapped at the top of it for like a week. Couldn't get downstairs because it flooded up all the floors and stuff. But I just remember driving through being like, well, I guess what I was pissed off about yesterday really ain't like I don't have any reason to be mad now because
That's the
I'm not
point.
going through this.
That's the
Like,
point. Yeah.
and to this day, like anytime I have bad days, I always remember just that feeling of driving through Fort Myers being like, okay, like let it go because
Yep.
it can be way worse, you
That's
know?
right.
Um, so let's get into real financial because this is what everybody wants to hear about. Let's be
All
honest.
right.
Um, so after everything that you had done of your career, uh, number one, how and why did you say yes to come on board?
Long story short, Brad was stepping in to operate Real Financial. In the past,
Mhm.
other people, he had always hired it out.
Yep.
And this time he was going to do it and he had a chip on his shoulder. And I was in his driveway when it all went down. And, he just basically like, you in? And I said, nope. And, and then long story short, I went home and prayed about it and told my wife and my partners here who had been leaning on me I hadn't really spoken about a lot about insurance when I got at it, when I
Mhm.
had my exit. I wanted to be, started looking at, want to be known for other things. And they were
Mhm.
always leaning on me to, dude, lean on that. You had great success and it's, very knowledgeable. It's a place of expertise that you should speak to.
Mhm.
So they were like, dude, what are you doing? Why'd you say no? This is what you've been dreaming about. And I was like, dang, you're right. To get in the C-suite of a company like this, normally you got to be 65, 70 years old, gray hair. And, and it just turns out that like I'm uniquely qualified to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm having a blast doing it, but Brad's got a chip on the shoulder and I do too a little bit. And,
Yeah.
and, and, the mission is simple, make it the biggest IMO on earth, period.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going.
Was it what was the one thing that stood out like after you would think about it? Was it just because of your relationship with Brad or like was it the whole like you looked at what we were doing, when all that stuff happened?
It's got massive opportunity. Most of it's it's not addressed or even utilized at all. It's underutilized. There's great people here, and but again, yeah, it's real. The biggest thing it's because of Brad. Brad's a friend, a colleague, and a mentor to me. So
Hmm.
um, it's 100%. You know, I'm having a blast working beside him, so
Yeah.
he didn't bring me here to run it. He's running it, and I'm here to streamline and expedite and make things effective, right?
Yeah.
So, because again, he's a pretty busy dude, and we need Brad being Brad.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
so you need a team of people around something like this, and that's
Mhm.
what I'm here to help execute.
Okay. So let's kind of talk about you and Brad a little bit. Like, when did you meet him, and kind of how did you guys' relationship start?
We were the insurance company that we had at the time. We were entertaining how to train people better, and we were looking at light speed.
Hmm.
And Brad was famous on social at the time, and I had the biggest footprint on social in the entire company at that time. So they're like,
Hmm.
"Hey, Nick, you need to talk to this guy." And I'd never heard of him before. Ironically, I was one of the few, and
Yeah.
and I was immediately just kind of drawn to him. We hung out here on a boat on the lake in Nashville, and I got a call maybe 2 weeks later, a FaceTime. Literally, I'll never forget. I was walking into the eye doctor, and he was like, "Hey, I got a little podcast. I'd love to bring you on." He was thinking about getting in the insurance business, and
Yeah.
so I went on the podcast, and again, that's how I saw the future. And
Yeah.
ever since then, our families hang out. Our wives are friends. Our little daughters are best friends, and and Brad's just always been he's always been good to me,
Yeah.
kind and good, and he's invested in me, and I'm just extremely grateful for that. But more importantly, like I like being around him, So
Hmm.
he's got that. It's contagious, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that's we've been. He's one of the only people in my life that I wasn't doing a lot of business with at the time that I was spending significant time around, and we've done holidays together and all kinds of stuff. It's very special. It's a very special relationship for me, and the he always said, if you want, I was looking for a way to do business with him for a long time. And he always said, if it
Hmm.
makes sense, I'm in, but like I never came in with anything that wasn't going to make sense. So
Yeah.
this one right here, this makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. Um, so from what you've seen since you've come on, like what excites you the most about where Real Financial can go?
People don't understand how fast Brad moves. I've never seen anything like it.
Hmm.
I've watched him in 48 hours bring on an entire call center and break a company like with appointments they couldn't even sustain. I've seen it. I've
Hmm.
witnessed it. I've lived it. He moves fast. He works extremely hard, and like that's how I like to roll. So I see a guy that's able to do something better than me, but he's doing what I want to do. So
Hmm.
I mean, dude, I just watching how he handles people. It's a freaking masterclass, dude. It's a
Yeah.
masterclass. So literally every day I'm living a masterclass, you know.
Hmm.
And then I have a great trust and responsibility in me. And dude, it's awesome. I'm loving it.
That's awesome. Um, so 3 to 5 years, where you think we're going to be at, in your
Exit,
opinion?
exit. That's the destination.
Yep, absolutely. Um, for you personally, how do you use your media to not try to, but to help like leverage people towards Real Financials, like branding and get people aware of us?
The same
Like,
reason your buddy was excited that I was coming on here.
yeah.
People see something in you that they see as something they see in themselves, and maybe you're just further ahead of the journey.
Hmm.
So, for me and what we're focusing on now, it's a great recruiting tool. It's a great resource for people to go and find inspiration or drive or whatever it is, that keeps them going and gets them to that next place in life. Your social media is not for you; it's for everybody else,
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
that's the biggest thing is making sure that what's relevant in my life right now is probably relevant in a lot of other people's lives. If anything, for sure, it's relevant amongst 45-year-olds with two kids,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So where are we winning, and can that help other people? So that's what it's all about. And again, you've got to just be a good business person and make sure that whatever you're spending time and money that you can get an investment back, a return on investment.
Hmm. Um, what do you think some opportunities you see for advisors who are willing to put the work into building your brand and your business? Because they coincide with each other, in my opinion. And
It's a business model that really doesn't exist in the space just because there's never been media guys like us
yeah.
operating it. It's always been industry specific.
Hmm.
So, not to mention, Brad is kind of like the godfather of virtual training. So, from an
Yeah.
education perspective and a training perspective, there's nobody better to do that and more qualified. And then, he's had a top-rated podcast, thousands of episodes, and I'm just a couple steps behind him, right? So, I understand his language. I understand why he does what he does, and I can be a great little aggregate to streamline that down.
Yeah. Do you think that would be one of the biggest advantages is you and Brad and your guys' massive, following of people and people that you guys know? Do you think that would be if somebody were to join right now? Do you think that'd be one of the first advantages? To say, hey, nobody else has me and Brad. Is that?
Correct. Oh, that's fact. It's the secret sauce all day long. But again, Brad's a really smart business person, and I've done
Hmm.
pretty well for myself too. So we build out systems. We build out systems that people can follow at scale.
Hmm.
So that's the key. So and again, how does an agent get off the ground? There's a variety of ways they can do that. But what KPIs measure success here in our company's culture? And then you evolve, right? I'm better today than I was yesterday. If you look at me 5, 6 years ago, I'm a different human being. Like even just
Hmm.
visually, I'm a different human being. So 3 years from now, if you're still doing the same thing you're doing today, you didn't grow, you didn't evolve. And that's
Hmm.
probably the biggest shtick about the insurance and financial services space is people get like they might buy leads or they might work your warm market runs out if you don't know how to develop more of it.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, you need a funnel and your funnel's very wide at the top and it drips out at the bottom. So it's the smallest at the bottom. So and the wider you can make that funnel, the more comes out at the bottom, right? Especially you
Hmm.
can start to open that bottom up a little bit. You can scale that stuff.
Yeah.
You can replicate yourself in somebody else, whether it's in an appointment setter, a marketing agency, a crew, a booking person, or whatever that may be, so that you're valuable in the business doing something. We used to say it all the time. You never want to take the chef out of the kitchen to do his taxes. You
Yeah.
know, hire out the taxes so he can do what he's best fit to do at this company, and
Hmm.
and we'll grow. So the biggest thing that we're excited about is how to take an agent and evolve them into not just a telephone killer, or a warm market killer, all of it, a personal brand, somebody that's of positive influence that makes a good impact, like, on the marketplace or just, in their own proximity.
Yeah. Absolutely. So how would you, based on all of that, we're trying to replicate from the top down. I mean, it starts with Brad and you, and it's trickle down. Try to get everybody. Christopher Holt said this on my last video. He's like, I'm trying to make 15 of me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what we're all trying to do. So, what, in your eyes, you're watching a new agent come in, what would you define as, okay, they're having success now? Like they've got it figured out.
A good leader, somebody that can replicate themselves in others, right? But check this out. Everybody's got their own hopes and dreams.
Hmm.
My job as the leader is to figure out what they are, get that person bought into their own hopes and dreams, and then how they say you grow apart. That's not a negative thing, right?
Hmm.
There was people that I was friends with in high school that I don't spend a lot of time with now. At that point in life, we had a lot of the same goals
Hmm.
at the same place in life. So as a leader, like for instance, your hopes and dreams, my job is to figure out how your hopes and dreams align with mine right now, and we build those together until they grow apart, and sometimes they
Yeah.
never do. So, that's the biggest thing we're doing right now is people come here for what, right? Financial security, to make an impact, right? To protect their families. Well, we all got
Hmm.
that in common,
Yeah.
right? So, but we got to define exactly what that is. And as a company, we create KPIs that pretty much cover all the masses, all the averages and everything else, right? So,
Hmm.
if you're managing a restaurant, you got to have enough food to make sure that you don't run out of French fries or pepperonis for the pizza or chicken for the taco or whatever it may be. There's an inventory, right?
Hmm.
And so that's the models that we have to build here have to be built for the masses at scale where these people that come here, I mean, most people that get into this business have never made 100 grand in a year,
Yeah.
right? That's life-changing money for them. Great. That's a great milestone to get everybody rocking,
Yeah.
So let's start there.
That's your first step.
Let's start with cash flowing 10 grand a month, 120 grand a year. You can make good decisions for your family from there. You have
Yeah.
enough money if you live within your means to reinvest back and grow it, right? So that's a really easy, we'll just call it a North Star
Hmm.
um, to aim at. And by the way, once we're attracting people that have already made that, and they're looking to water the grass over here, then we can raise that. It's just right now in the business that we're at, we want to make. I mean, if everybody's making 100 grand, one, recruiting's not going to be a problem,
Yeah.
you
100%.
know, because you're going to, one, you start hanging out in different places, different restaurants, different schools, different neighborhoods, different people,
Yeah.
right? And they're going to be, and people are going to start saying, "What'd you do to get over there?" This is what I did. You want to come? And now you just led somebody there, right? So literally, like
Yeah.
leadership's for everybody. You just got to embrace the role. If somebody tries a freaking chocolate ice cream cone at that place because you said it was good, you led them there.
Yeah.
Leadership's for everybody.
Hey, this is part of why you're one of the guys leading the charge.
That's
I
right.
mean, what do you think separates, or how would you explain this? This is a better way to put it. If you're recruiting somebody to come on board with us, what's that one or two specific things that you're gonna say, hey man, like don't go over to Nationwide or one of the big, just name brands that ever the generic insurance companies. Like come over here with us. We're doing it different. Like what are you starting off with?
Well, first of all, if Nationwide's the best place for you based on who you are and the people you know and stuff, man, I want you to do your thing.
Yeah.
Like, so that's first and foremost. I want everybody to be here for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But most people bounce back and forth between companies based on a comp plan. And that comp plan is usually never achieved. The reason that they went there, the 1 billion%, uh, you know,
Hmm.
advanced commission they're going to get. Well, if you actually read the fine print, you can't technically achieve it anyways, right? So,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's like you come here. You don't come here for a comp plan. You come here for a certain amount of money that you can buy back your time with, right? So, do you have the playbook to do that?
Hmm.
So instead of chasing a comp plan, chase an outcome, right? Most people go to a comp plan that there's an outcome that hasn't been defined. So and they're going to bit there and never. They're, well, I'm not at that top comp plan, so I'm not happy. Well, I mean, dude, like maybe you're making what you've always dreamed of making.
Hmm.
So what you focus on grows. So that's the biggest thing is a lot of these companies will promise the moon, but like, dude, at the end of the day, you're starting to call center down on a whole bunch of age data.
Hmm.
Um, you get yelled at most of the day because people are pissed you called them in the first place.
Yep.
I've been watching that for 10 years. There's got to be a better way,
Yeah.
and there is, and that's what we're doing here.
If you could if you could tell everybody one thing that they should be paying attention to our company, what would you tell them? Like if they're watching from the outside or if they're thinking about getting in, like if they're on the fence or if they're just, like family that are just like, hey, just watching, like seeing what you guys do kind of thing. What would you say that one thing is that they should really be paying attention for what's coming?
Just personal growth, man. Personal growth. If you're growing personally, your bank's probably growing with it.
Yeah.
So money is the outcome, but it's not the objective,
Hmm.
right? So, um, you know, how often do they smile? How excited are they to do what
Hmm.
they do?
Yeah.
Um, do they like the person that they're becoming? Are they excited about that? Those are the things that really matter. You
Yeah.
know, are they able to do more for the people they care about in their community? You know, like it's pretty evident when you just take a look.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I got one more question for you, and then I'll let you
Bring
get
it.
out of here. I know your time is valuable. And again, I do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man. Have a blast.
Um,
Great to be here.
who's winning the World Series this year?
World Series,
Yeah.
man.
What do you think?
I'm a Yankee fan. As a kid, the Double A team here in Nashville was a New York Yankees franchise, the Nashville Sun,
Yeah.
right? So I grew up watching Donnie Baseball and all those guys. So I grew up a Yankee fan. I'm still a Yankee fan. The greats. I love the pinstripes. I love the 27 World Championships.
Yeah.
I like the culture of winning. However, it's maybe it's just not as easy as it used to be. My National League team is probably the Dodgers because old Mookie, he's from here. Uh,
Yeah.
I love all the things they stand for. So, dude, the Dodgers are going to be tough, man. They got a thing going right now. I'll be surprised if they don't take it home. A lot of
Think
injuries can happen. The trade deadline's coming up.
I was just about to ask, think they're gonna get Scooble?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Better
Honestly,
than
dude, I'm so focused on stuff here. I couldn't even tell you. I don't think the Yankees are in first. I think they're in second place right now. I haven't looked in a minute. I haven't
Yeah.
watched the game.
Yeah.
I'm so focused on what we're doing here, but I'm still a fan. I spend all my time watching baseball, watching my favorite player. That's my boy. And
There it is.
so and he's a fan. And usually, what little I know about the big leagues is because it's what we talk about in our spare time. It's
Yeah.
something we have in common. We're fans. So
Yeah.
I would love to say the Yankees are going to get healthy and they're gonna do their thing and bring home number 28. It's about time. But dude,
Mhm.
the Dodgers are really good. It's going to be tough. It's going to be
I
exciting to
know.
watch.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate coming on, spending some time with us. So,
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me, brother. God bless.
absolutely. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks again, Nick.